This is 7:30 Tea with Rie.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird-looking van.
Rie is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Rie. Welcome to a Spiked Tea with Rie episode. I feel like this is the first time I've said that in the intro for like the Spiked Tea ones, because I feel like I take a little bit to say it, but now I said it. So yeah, it's the Spiked Tea one, and I'm excited. I got my drink ready to go to make myself drunk. This time, okay, because I always try something new to try and make myself drunk faster so that it's more entertaining for you guys. And like, I'm not a bartender. I don't know how to make drinks. I don't know how to do that. But I was like, okay, I also don't even know that many drinks. I know what a vodka soda is. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make myself a vodka soda. So I found vodka somewhere in my house. And then I found Sprite somewhere in the garage. And I was like, I'm going to put these together, right? I was like, maybe I'll put more vodka than Sprite in this thing. So I was like, maybe if I pour the vodka first, level it out, see where it goes, then I could put the Sprite in, right? Like, you would think that would make sense. So then I put the Sprite in after, and I'm like, oh, like, I feel like the vodka still overtakes it. And I was like, yeah, maybe not. Like, maybe I'll be fine once I try this, right? No. So I drink this, and I do a gulp, too. And it tastes like rubbing alcohol. I was like, fuck, like, how am I can't do this. Like, I can get drunk, but I can't do this. So I threw like half of it out of my drink, and then I put the rest of it filled with Sprite to the top. And now it's better. It's much better. It's much more simmered down. I even, you know what's crazy? I even put 2 big fat ice cubes in there to try and water it down. No. So thank God I emptied half of it, because I would have been screwed right now. I would have been 10 times more screwed. I'm already giddy. I'm already giddy from that one gulp, because I don't know. I'm a lunatic, and I get kind of drunk fast now that I'm not in college anymore with that tolerance. So I'm just a mess. It's okay. Taking a gulp. Yeah, that's so much better. Oh my god. Like, I can taste more of the Sprite than the vodka, which is great. I'd rather that. The vodka's still in there, though, I promise you. There's a good chunk of it. But I like it better when I can taste the Sprite over the other. So yeah. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Because I know I'm doing very well. I have so much to tell you guys. So, do you guys remember how for the past few weeks and these past few episodes, I've been telling you guys about how I've been focusing on myself and things have been going really well because I've finally like detached, let things go, going with the flow vibes and not trying too hard, like letting things come to me and me receiving them type of energy. You know, I've been doing that. I didn't realize that when you do that, good things really do actually come. Like, I've seen it, but like, oh gosh, it's good right now. So the last episode, I had told you guys that I was going on a date. So I'm going to update you guys. The date went amazing. Everything has been amazing. I've met a really good person. I'm like giddy right now, but it's going really, really well. It's going really well. The date, we went to the paint and sip. That was so much fun. We watched the sunset. We got food and all of that stuff. And then we went on a second date within the same weekend. Then we went to an escape room. We got hot chocolate, we got food and stuff like that. And we hung out again. I went over his house. I met his mom. She was super nice. basically, like, it seems like things are moving fast, but I think when things feel right, sometimes that happens. And what I can say is so far, things feel very right, the current moment. So I'm going with the flow of that, and I really like it. This guy's really sweet. He got me flowers on the first date, and he also got me more flowers in case my other ones were dying. And mind you, I didn't ask him to do any of this. He did this stuff all on his own, and I think that's what's most exciting about it, because I've always wanted someone to do sweet things for me and have a similar love language to me. So far I can say life has been pretty fun lately with that spark in there, in the love life category. And that's an area where I've struggled with for a while, so it feels really good to feel uplifted in that category, because it feels like it's uplifting other things as well. It's just making me very happy at the moment. So I'm excited. I hope it continues going well. And yeah, in regards to social media stuff, I have been trying to like boost my stuff still. And I don't know. There's some days where I get too in my head and where I get like, oh, am I doing enough? Stuff like that. So I've been slightly in my head in that category of just trying to like up my overall presence online and stuff like that. So I've been promoting posts, but I want to promote even more, like I just really want my name out there. I actually tried to make, I did make, I made a second account for just my podcast on TikTok, because I was doing for a while, I have like a main TikTok account, and for a while I was doing like a mix of my funny regular content and then some of my podcast stuff, and like it's not bad, but I feel like I do my funny stuff more than my podcast stuff, and I feel like that doesn't help get my name out as much, as too much of like a mumbo jumbo. So that's why I made a separate page for my podcast account. Sorry, I just burped. But I made a separate thing for it. So I'm trying to build that account up. And yeah, so I'm just going to be trying to promote more. I really am just trying to do more and more and more, always. And I've also been applying to jobs. I don't mind working at, the places I'm working at right now. It's like I don't mind it necessarily, but I just would rather at least do something that's related to the social media field, and also maybe a full-time job. I just want something with more money and related to my field. I really, preferably, I would love to have a remote job. So that's where I'm at in that category. But aside from that, I have been happy lately, and I haven't been too stressed on that. It's more of just something that's been on my mind of like, okay, I want to improve this too. So it's more of just, I've been in this state where I've been accepting the present and living with that and trying to make sure that I'm happy in the present rather than just stressing myself out too much, but also still trying to find a balance and trying to be better. So yeah, that's how things are going. Things are going really, really well. So I have been happy. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to be getting into our stories today. I'm going to take a sip again. Oh. Probably sounds so weird on here. Anyways, before we get into our stories, if you are new here, you're probably confused as to whatever's going on. So if you are new here, I'm going to tell you what this podcast is about. So this podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730 Tea with Rie. You spell that 730 TEAWITHRIE. Or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Stories should be up to 500 words or less, And if you want to send an audio voice message in instead of typing out your story, just please keep it up to 5 minutes max. Thank you. So now we're going to get into the first embarrassing story of me, because that is the point of these Spiked Tea with Rie ones, is just I'm telling you embarrassing stories. Because you guys always send in some stories. Some are a little embarrassing, some are like secret, some are kind of personal. So the point of the Spiked Tea with Rie ones, and I want to reiterate it, even if you already have been a listener, like I'm just reiterating this for the newcomers, and you know, if you just needed to be reminded, the whole point of these Spiked Tea with Rie episodes are so that I can share my personal tea with you guys and personal embarrassing things, just to get a laugh out of it, and so that you guys feel like you can relate to me and all of that stuff, and so that I can also feel like I relate to you guys, because, you know, hearing the feedback feels good when I hear someone be like, oh my god, like, me too, girl, or like, oh my god, like, that happened to me. Like, it makes me feel good, and I'm sure it makes you guys feel good. So yeah, we're gonna get into our first story. So this one is called I Got My Period in Public. Okay, so I remember this was literally only a few months ago. Like, that's the crazy thing. I think it was in like December, I want to say. No. It was November. I'm taking a sip. So back in November, it was like Thanksgiving time period or whatever, and it was Black Friday. And for Black Friday, I definitely go shopping. I've done it every single year. I love to go shopping for Black Friday. It's so much fun to me. It's kind of like me time, and it's just, I don't know, I like the rush of it. I like the fact that everybody is out doing it, and we're all doing this activity together. It makes me feel kind of like less lonely. I don't know why, it just does. But anyways, I like to go Black Friday shopping, right? So I went to the Tanger Outlets in Riverhead. Now, if you're from Long Island, you know where that is. So this Tanger Outlets honestly has the best deals in general. So during Black Friday shopping, it has even better deals. And it's so good. And so I like to go there for Black Friday shopping. I used to go to the one in Deer Park for some years, but I don't know, it's not the same anymore, which kind of sucks, you know? Like, it used to be so much fun, but whatever. So now I go to the Riverhead one, and I go during the day rather than like the midnight lines waiting and all that shit. So I was Black Friday shopping all on my own in Riverhead, right? And I'm walking around, and I feel like I feel like wet. Like, I feel like weird, right? Like, I'm wondering like what is happening to me. Like, why the fuck, what's happening down there, right? So, you know, I go to the bathroom and I go to pee, and it's not pee. Like, I was like, oh, that came, you know, like, wow, she's here. So I don't have any tampons. I had ran out, and I usually pack tampons on me, and I didn't have anything. I didn't even have pads, nothing. I had nothing, you know? So I was like, oh my God, this is awful. And on top of it, I had bled through a little bit on my leggings, like a good amount, you know? So I was like, oh God. Like, it wasn't like a lot, but it was like enough where it feels gross, you know? And so I was like, I can't walk around in these fucking leggings. And I had also wrapped up toilet paper and like put it there as like a substitute pad. That's what I had to do. So I quickly I ran into Aerie. I think you guys know Aerie, like that little American Eagle branch off or whatever. So I ran into there. I purchased a new pair of leggings. I went up to one of the managers or whatever, and I was like, hi, I don't mean to be weird or anything. And it was a girl, you know. I was like, I don't mean to be weird or gross or anything, but like, do you have a bathroom that I could change into and like a tampon? Because I bled through my pants. And she was like, oh my God, absolutely. Like, she was so nice. I was so thankful because, you know, there's people are sometimes assholes, especially at stores. Like, sometimes people are like, ew, like, how dare you, you know, and they turn you away. She was so nice, so absolutely nice. So guess where I went to the bathroom in there? I went in like the back workplace where the fucking employees are. They had a whole bunch of tampons, which was brilliant. So I used this super jumbo ass shit and I fucking, like, I was happy as hell. I put on those brand new leggings and I felt brand new, and I was walking out of there mad awkward though, because everyone was staring at me like, who the fuck is this girl walking into the employee section? Like, who is this? You know? Or maybe that's how I saw it, at least. I'm sure maybe no one was thinking that much into it, but it was kind of weird because they let me skip the line to make a purchase and everything. So they were probably like, who the fuck is this girl? But whatever. I was happy as hell, and I got out of there, and nobody, or at least I think nobody saw the blood. It was black pants, so like I don't think so. But you know when you just feel damp and you're like, this is definitely showing. Like, it was the fucking worst. I was so embarrassed. I was just like, oh my God, you could kill me today. But yeah, I survived. Thank you, Ari. Shout out to you, bestie. But yeah, that is my story on how I got my period in public and had to buy new leggings on the spot. Yeah, I had to take a sip for that. So, we are gonna get into our next story of the day. Now, this one is the name of the title, so this one's gonna be really fucking silly. So silly. So this one is called, I Thought Mia Khalifa Was Wiz Khalifa's Sister. Oh my God. I'm such an idiot, you guys. And I was just such a little nerd. So I cannot. I'm going to get right into this. So in like middle school or whatever, I think it had to have been like 6th or 7th grade. So I was like maybe 11 or 12. I remember, like, I wasn't a popular kid, but I wasn't like a complete geek, you know? I wasn't like one of the like really bad nerds. I wasn't like a complete I don't want to say loser. That sounds like so mean. But you know, like I wasn't completely unpopular, but I wasn't popular. I was just in the middle. Like, that's what I was, right? So, oh, this sounds so fucking mean. I swear I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to just be real. But, like, I wasn't popular, but I wasn't unpopular. I was just in the middle. Anyways, so I always, like, I guess wanted to fit in, though. And I overheard the boys of that grade talking one time. Like, we were all in the classroom. It was, I think, the morning time, you know, when you're just talking before a class starts. So all of the boys are like, oh yeah, like Mia Khalifa, she's so cool, she's so bad, blah blah blah, whatever. And like, I didn't know who she was. I knew who Wiz Khalifa was because I guess his music was like popular back then or whatever. Like, he was always on the radio. So I was like, oh, okay, like maybe that's Wiz Khalifa's sister. And so I joined in on the conversation and I'm like, yeah, no, she is cool. She's so cool. Mia Khalifa's the coolest. Love her. And they were like, oh, yo, you love Mia Khalifa? And I'm like, yeah, she's the coolest, right? Right. So I thought that was his sister. I didn't do my research. I wasn't into rap or hip hop really. Like, I liked Coldplay, you know? Like, I was a basic ass little kid. I liked Coldplay. I liked, you know, like Ed Sheeran and, you know, I liked that type of music. So I had no clue anything about fucking Wiz Khalifa. And so the next day at school, after that interaction where I'm like, yeah, Mia Khalifa's the coolest, the girls come up to me, these fucking bitches, my god, these popular girls that were like little assholes. Like, they bullied me sometimes. Like, they were so mean. And I'll give you an example of that. Like, they were mean because my nickname growing up has always been Riri, because Rihanna, you know? And like, everyone calls me Ree now, but like, my nickname was Riri. And they used to be like, the girls used to be like, oh, you know Riri means retard, right? You retard. Like, I remember that. And so these fucking bitches, the next day after that interaction, came up to me, and one of them showed a picture of herself in a bikini, and she was like, hey, Rihanna, like, you think this is hot? Do you think I look good? And I was like, you look fine. And they were like, yeah, I bet you would think that. Yeah. Like, it was so fucking, like, ridiculous. And I would love to fucking out these bitches, you know? I would love to out these bitches because you know how this generation is now. I would love for y'all to, like, absolutely come for them and absolutely put them in their place. But I'm not going to say the names. Maybe not today, at least. Maybe a different time. But, it was so embarrassing because, like, I had no idea for years until, you know, years later, you go through the internet and you're like, oh, Mia Khalifa was a porn star. Like, you know, like, I had no clue. So, yeah, now I know that Mia Khalifa is not Wiz Khalifa's sister. So, it's so great, so lovely. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna take another drink because it's so embarrassing. Anyways, we are gonna get into our last and final story of the day. Now, this one is so embarrassing too. So, this one is called My Crush Rejected Me and Ran Away. Yeah. I think I honestly have the most embarrassing stories from childhood. It's like awful. It's so the worst. So this one is so cringy, so absolutely cringy. So in like 7th grade, I had the biggest crush on this boy. I had the biggest crush on this boy. His name was Andres. Oh god, I hope no one who knows him ever listens to this, but they probably will. Whatever, go tell him, I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I had the biggest crush on this boy. I just thought he was like the cutest thing back then, and I just wanted to get to know him and this, that, but I was such like a weird kid. I didn't know how to flirt. I didn't know how to like just interact with people normally when I had a crush on them. Like, I could make friends just fine, but when I had a crush, I was just, like, a lunatic. I really was. I was an idiot. I don't know why. So, like, that whole year, like, getting to know him, I didn't even really get to know him. I would just stare at him, or look at him, or wave awkwardly, or smile. My only actual interaction I've had with him, like a conversation before him rejecting me or whatever, my only conversation was I showed him a magic trick because that was my form of flirting. I did not know how to flirt, so what I would do is show boys magic tricks. I would go up to them and I'd literally be like, pick a card. Like, it was so fucking bad. It was so awful. And I mean, they thought the tricks were cool, but in my mind, I was like, I sure got him. Yeah, I got him. Like, that's my man now. I was so fucking delusional. And so, yeah, that's what our interaction was literally just I showed him a magic trick, and I would just stare at him all the time, and I would, like, I don't know, create my own little fantasies in my head of like, yeah, he definitely likes me too, unrequited love, like literally. And so I somehow gained all this confidence and worked up the courage to go up to him towards the end of the school year, because the end of the school year in 7th grade was, or maybe it was 8th grade, sorry, yeah, 7th or 8th grade, whatever the fuck, there was some dance at the end of the year, And I worked up my courage to go up to him and ask him to the formal. And so it was towards the end of the day, and he was with his little friends or whatever. And I went up to him and his friend group and was like, oh, hey, Andres, like, can I ask you a question? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, he was acting like cool and like he's like all bad and bougie, whatever. And so I was like, can I ask you over here? Like, I tried to pull him aside and he's like, okay. So I pulled him aside for a sec. But we weren't far from his friends, so his friends could probably hear, and I felt so awkward. And I was like to him, I think that I like you, and would you want to go to the formal with me? Like, literally. And he just looked at me funny, and as soon as he looked at me funny, I was like, oh, fuck. And he, like, tilted his head, and he was like, no. And then I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, sorry, I'm going with someone else. Right? So that's what he said. And he fucking just went with his friends and they, like, stormed off. But, like, not even just stormed off. Like, they, like, I don't want to say sprinted, but they walked really fast away. Like, it looked like they were running. I was just like, this is so dramatic and rude. Like, why would we do this? Like, what? All I did was fucking ask you a question. Like, what? I was so offended, and I was also so upset because I was like, my crush don't like me, right? So it was just real embarrassing. And then he did actually end up taking a girl. At first I thought he maybe made that up, but no, he really did. The girl he ended up taking wasn't even cute. I don't even mean to be a bitch, but like, I'm just being so real. She wasn't. I was just like, how did you not take me? But whatever. You do what you want, Andres. But that is the story of how my little crush rejected me and practically ran away, because he just ran off with his little friends and just took someone else. And yeah, the kid was never into me. It was literally just all in my head because I was such a vain ass kid. So yeah, that is the story. That's the tea, sis. I have way more stories that are to come because I have such embarrassing little moments from my life. So yeah, stay tuned for those. Stay absolutely tuned for those. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to my little drunky little self. Even though this was for the first time, like, I don't think I got drunk in this episode. I think I was more on the tipsy side. I think I was more sober, which is very good, you know? Like, that's great, because I was coherent. Anyways, we are gonna close out this episode with our sound healing. So let's clear up all this energy that we let out and, you know, relived with me and all that stuff. So we're going to close out our session with sound healing. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth. And I'm going to play. All right, thank you guys so much for listening. And if you were new here and you made it to the end of this episode, like, I really appreciate that. I appreciate that you wanted to sit here and listen to me for however long and, you know, and whatever time you took out of your day to do that. Like, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who always comes back to listen to me and my crazy life. But yeah, if you are new here and stuff like that, or if you've been here and you haven't yet, go follow all of my podcast stuff. Follow my social medias, follow my TikTok, follow me on Apple and Spotify, and subscribe on YouTube, follow my Instagrams. Go do all of that right now. I have a lot of interesting content for you guys to look at, a lot of cutesy stuff, a lot of aesthetically pleasing stuff, so go follow it right now. But like I said, thank you guys so much for listening today. It always means the most to me. And I will see you guys all next week. I hope you guys have the bestest week ever. Goodbye!